over the next 1 hour to maybe 45 minutes to bring Kenyans up to speed on just what the budget statement for the year 2017-2018 is. Of course, the conversation there being the fact that this has been a process that has brought together various stakeholders, enabled various inputs into this budget, enabled the creation of various priorities, and of course, then these being tabled at Parliament for the entire country to digest, then indeed go over the finance bill for, well, the next few weeks and be able to operationalize this into law one way or the other. That there, of course, being the briefcase that we have seen time and again come to us in Parliament and indeed from Treasury, and be able to tell us the secrets that are usually in government when it comes to how your money will be used over the next 1 year. What are the tax measures? What will be the various ways to raise revenues? What indeed can you expect will be there for you over the next 1 year? That has been a question we've been putting to a lot of people there today, and CS Henry Rotich just about there to start the walk to Parliament, and of course posing with his team on the steps of the Treasury building and taking a few minutes to simply do the photo opportunity, then shake a few hands and then walk off. What will be the perspective coming out of Parliament today? The question on very many people's minds today. He is of course now taking the picture there with his deputy, who of course is Dr. Kamau Thuge, and is now about to step into his official limousine for the drive that will take him to Parliament buildings. And of course that battery of journalists very keen there to angle themselves for each and every crucial shot. Of course the budget policy statement, the appropriations bill, and indeed the finance bill much later on has been a lot of teamwork. It is not just an individual's work, and the tabling of the budget statement being just one step in what has been a long process to bring us to this point, something that actually started in June last year, and something that, well, brought in a lot of expectations from people and perspectives from others. And just to field one question from you, just regarding this process. This was something that we inherited from the British, right?
No, well, the previous one we did, but this one is really something we have started when we come in the Public Finance Management Act.
Yes.
There is a whole annual cycle around that. I think earlier on you mentioned about it. Really, the process starts at the beginning of the financial year when the framework is set up on how ministries, state corporations should come out with estimates, particularly on the expenditure side. And then those are pulled together. There are public forums which happen around October. I'm talking about the normal year. This is obviously slightly unusual that we have brought forward at the actual reading of the budget statement to March from June. And then in January, February, he comes out his budget policy statement, which really sets out how the previous year has been, how is the outlook in terms of the current year, and how they look at the following year. So it's a 3-year cycle in how this is all looked at. The previous year, the current year, and the year they're actually making the budget statement for. And that the Parliament has to review and approve. And the next step then is actually, as like you said, the appropriation bill, because that has to be approved before he can actually come out with his budget statement, because that will be his foundation, that this is the expenditure the government is going to be spending. And that will now drive how is that going to be financed. How much of it will come from revenues, how much, obviously, which includes the allocation. Again, you need to look at to the counties, and therefore, what is the budget deficit? Is it within the parameters we have set out for ourselves? So this year, when you look at it, they're looking at 7% of GDP is the deficit which needs to be financed. But that, again, we have to look at it in context, because most of that financing will be needed for development expenditure. So it's not something we have inherited. It's something we have started as a country doing for over the last 5 years, and so 6 years.
Yes, so indeed, viewers, as you can hear from us here in studio, the conversation around the budget, that drive to Parliament has already started, and the entry into Parliament by the CS Henry Rotich from the National Treasury should be imminent over the next few minutes with that briefcase, the all-important briefcase that makes him the man of the moment before he tables and indeed reads that budget statement. Of course, all eyes here in the country today on that one man, on that single briefcase, bringing in different perspectives from across the economy on how we are going to spend our collective kitty over the next 1 year, that financial year. Edward, I want to bring you into this conversation now the fact that when it comes to domestic borrowing, and the amounts we are seeing here today, it might mean that they might have to raise the ceiling for local borrowing. Do you think that will happen?
No, the ceiling for local borrowing
yes.
are contained in the budget policy.
Yes.
So I think they cannot raise,
yes.
because